Poetics, man. Oh shoot, they done did it, bro.
Man, evolution, what's going on?
Man, they done did it, bro. Not the kids, man. Not the kids, man.
Yeah, man, they too young to be getting done like this.
Hey, man, should we get them?
We got to get them, man.
Poetics, should we get them?
We got to get them. Got to get them.
Hey, man, let's get them. Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools, District 500, Washington High School, bro. Let's go. What's going on? What's going on? Hey, what's going on? This is Evolution, and I'm here with my sidekick, Mr.
Poetics, what's going on?
Hey,
Evolution.
hey, Poetics, man. It's a lot going on this morning. We about to let everybody know. Woo! I tell you what, man. When I heard about this, I didn't really think it was going to go as deep as it went, but people are going to find out once we get going with this. But the topic of today, man. Back up. Poetics, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I've been kind of bubbling and sitting on this and roasting, man, ready to let the steam off.
Yeah, we got to, man, on this one.
Oh man, we got to voice our opinion on this one, man. So the title of today is absence policy. Wait a minute. Let me back up. I gotta wake up. My tongue's getting me. Attendance policies gone wrong. Attendance policies gone wrong. Bro, what are your thoughts just off the topic?
Man, just off the topic, it sounds like it sounds like it's getting ready to get real.
Yeah. and,
Just
and
off the
that it
topic.
is. And that it is, man. And the whole scenario is a lot of parents at Washington High School in Kansas City, Kansas, received information recently that their children were had some issues with tardies and attendances, which caused them to be what they consider truant. Um, so the school outlined these two meetings about some information that they wanted to give the parents, which is some sort of attendance plan that they came up with. And I was fortunate enough to make it to the first meeting, which it was absolutely ridiculous. And Poetics, you were able to make it to the second meeting, right?
Yes, which was also absolutely ridiculous.
and we'll get into all that, man. But basically, um, I was surprised to see the individuals that was there conducting that meeting because clearly they were not the people to be leading that meeting, and clearly they were just not prepared for what they were set up to present. Um, I honestly thought that there would have been someone like a superintendent or some type of board representative there, or even a principal. You know what I'm saying? When you're talking about the statistics that came out during these particular meetings, man, it blew my mind. You
Man,
know that, and then more importantly, bro, the school was trying to, or these individuals, or the whole idea and the outline of these meetings were to kind of put the responsibility on the parents and the students and not the responsibility of where it should have been put in the first place, which is the school district, the people that are in place for this particular subject, which is attendance and tardies and truancy. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Bro, you got anything to elaborate on that?
you know, it's a really interesting dynamic, but I'm just looking forward. I can't wait to get into this one. I can't wait. I can't wait.
All right, man. So let's get into it, man. So who's at fault? When it comes to tardies and attendance and being present, and when it comes down to calculating all this stuff to determine who's truant and who's not. Let's start with the student. You know, just top of your head, bro. What your thoughts are on, would the student be at fault for being tardy or absent? And you can go any way you want to go on it, and I'll follow you. I'll follow you.
Just the student, I would say. I mean, to a to an extent. I mean, there's going to be, making sure you go to sleep at night, get enough rest, make sure you get up on time so that you can actually get to school on time.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, I would say that there's definitely more shared responsibility than just the student itself.
Absolutely. When it comes to being present in the morning, there's a lot of different dynamics that go into that, a lot of different angles and a lot of different situations. You know what I'm saying? So basically, if a school bus is late getting the kids to school, then they're excused, right? And they even went over the excuses of what they would accept and what they would not accept.
Right.
Um, Oversleeping is not an excuse that they will excuse. Um, Being sick is, um, but we'll get into that maybe a little bit more. Maybe we'll just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? But some interesting information that was picked up while in this meeting. Some of the bathrooms are locked at the school. So
Hmm.
if you only got a couple minutes to go to class from your past your previous class, and you need to go to the restroom,
And you have, yeah.
and your class is on this side and the locked bathroom is on the side, which is very bizarre. You know what I'm saying? During
Or
school hours, why is the bathroom locked in the first place?
right,
So they got to go all the way to another location to go to the restroom and then come all the way back.
which is
So
gonna
to
make them tardy.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, man. So in that respect, either you unlock the bathrooms, which that's very bizarre, bro. I'm still trying to understand that. That's you know. Let me pull up some of my notes, man, because when you're speaking about locked bathrooms, to me, in a school system that's public, the parents drop their kids off or send their kids, you're expecting them to look after your kids while they're there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That it is their responsibility whether they will view it as that or not. They are responsible. So
Absolutely.
so you're locking bathrooms, bro. To me, that's up there with animal cruelty. It's also up there with sweatshop treatment. You know what I'm saying? Are you familiar with sweatshops, right?
Yes. Yes.
And it's also up there with concentration camp type of mentality. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. You know, and human decency, first of all, is not being considered when you come to this. These are children, man. These are our future, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you are denying them the opportunity to relieve themselves in between classes, or
In a convenient manner. Right.
yes, or you're extending that time frame, which in many cases you're talking about hundreds of kids, if not thousands. You know what I'm saying? In between class, they all got to go. You know, or if they all don't have to go, a number of them have to go, right?
Right.
So, can you imagine the line and the wait time in those particular limited bathroom opportunities? You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to highlight that, bro. What are your thoughts?
That's tough, man. I didn't see. I'm happy you we were able to gather kind of different information
Yes,
than
sir.
the
Yes,
other at
sir.
these particular meetings, man. And I would say it's it's pretty amazing how you can have all these restrooms
Mm-hmm.
and only have access to so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's we that like you said, that's so bizarre. Like Who locks the bathroom? Like,
Apparently, they do
the-
there because I got that information from multiple parents who got it from multiple students.
wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. So let's go to who's at fault for the next one. Let's go to the parents. Are the parents at fault for the children being absent or tardy? If you got car troubles and you taking your kid to school, or your kid is dragging. It's been mornings where I myself have been outside waiting on my son to come out. He's dragging a little bit that morning, and then I gotta go a little bit faster to get him there on time, and then after all of my efforts to get out the car, he's walking a little slow. You know what I mean? Uh, Kids are kids. You know what I'm saying? They're not adults yet, um, but they have their mentality, and we should all be able to relate to that because we've been there. You know what I'm saying? And we should remember the mentality of children. Their sense of urgency when it comes to getting up in the morning or going to class is not um, probably where it should be with all of them. Um, but it is there. You know what I'm saying? They know that they're going to school, they're going there to learn, and they're going there to, you know, figure out life or whatever, or just get an education. What are your thoughts, bro?
It's a great point, man. I think a lot of times, you know, people have the tendency to forget that they were once children themselves.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So, it's kind of a shame that, you're going to try to hold them to standards that you forgot you had passes on when you
yeah.
were, coming up as a child. So it's kind of like, that same leniency and the time to, be a child, we have
Mm-hmm.
to extend to them just like we had it extended to ourselves.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And if you don't have anything else about the parents, man, let's move on to the teachers, bro. And this is where it gets real interesting. Because again, I was present at the first meeting, you was present at the second one. So we got firsthand information right here. This is
Hmm.
not guesstimation or what ifs or possibilities. This is the actual thing that went down.
Right.
Uh, whose fault is it? Is it the teacher's fault? Man, now let me go here, bro. I gotta lead this one off and then you follow up. Woo! Uh, Parents talk. You know what I'm saying? Parents communicate, especially when they're irritated about something. Now, out of the many responses that I got from parents whose children are so-called truant, they've got complaints from their kids or their students saying that they were in class, they were present, but the feedback is, are these teachers properly taking role? You know what I'm saying? Is it because um, they don't see the student in their chair? Maybe they're sharpening a pencil. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Is it because they say vocally respond? If I ask if you're here, say present, and the child raises their hand and they don't hear anything, so they mark them absent. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Or maybe they went to the restroom and they come in a few minutes late. They weren't there at the time, but now they are. So instead of changing their absence to tardy, it doesn't get done. So is it the teacher's fault in the apathy that's been displayed? And there was multiple scenarios, bro, and all of them outline the teacher as far as being at fault. What are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely some responsibility lies on the teacher. I think you have to. There's this thing called accountability,
Boom, boom.
and sometimes they like to pass the buck and make it seem as if, hey, well, when I took row, I didn't get the response that I was supposed to get when I had made the instructions to get this particular response. But again, to your point, if I have to travel to the other side of the building to go to the restroom,
Hmm.
I may or may not be there at this time.
Hmm.
So what do you want? What do you expect?
Right.
You're probably not going to get any response because I'm in the restroom.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, absolutely.
I, I mean, I'm just kind of shaking my head, man, because uh, for me, it's like, what about correcting it once you realize that the student is present? What about correcting the fact that you mark them as absent, and when they, when you realize towards the middle of class or the end of class, and you see that student's face, you're like, you're not going to think enough to say, hey, why don't I go ahead and correct that and put this child as tardy? And then on top of that, what's wrong with actually talking to the child? Hey, what time did you actually get into the class? I mean,
Mm,
a little communication would go a long ways.
honestly, bro, I think that type of question from a teacher should never have to be asked because the teacher's supposed to be paying attention, first of all. You know what I'm saying? Their job is to know where all their class members are. Um, if they're not there, or when they enter, they should know when they entered. You know what I'm saying? They should know who was there before the bell rang. They should know who entered after the bell rang, and they should just know. I mean, that's their job is to take care of these individuals, and it should be only so many, right? Um, but the teacher, first of all, needs to know where their kids are at, and second of all, they need to be aware of if they did enter late, they should be able to automatically just change that attendance. It doesn't really take a lot to do. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
usually just a mark or a scribble or an eraser and write the right thing in. But apparently that's too much. Apparently that's asking too much. You know, which brings me to who's at fault? The school. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Like I mentioned before, at this meeting, we have two people who resembled what I would call a peon to do these meetings, right? And I'm looking for like the principal. Dude, the principal was not present. The principal. You
Right.
talking about the majority of your students being considered truant. And dude, when I heard the percentages, anywhere from 20% to 50% missing classes, or at least that's what's being tabulated. You know what I'm saying? These are the
Right.
markings. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? These are the results that are coming out. But also during these meetings, we found that the two people that was conducting this meeting admitted, dude, they admitted to knowing that this stuff goes on, that the teachers are inaccurately marking these kids present or uh, inaccurately marking them absent or inaccurately marking them tardy. Dude, they are aware of this. When I heard that lady say that, I'm like, you're kidding me, right? Do you realize what you just said, right? So basically all these markings and all these results,
Not even completely accurate to begin with.
boom. So how are you trying to make parents sign a document that you typed up? And it's a whack document, bro. It is so
I've
whack.
seen it.
It is so whack. But it's basically placing all the responsibility on the parent and the student, and kind of making them wash their hands of a situation that's clearly something going on that they are causing, overlooking, or just not doing. What you got, man?
Yeah, man. I think I'm gonna take it here. Speaking of those two members, one of them does openly admit that even their child was a part of this thing.
Boom.
So I'm kind of like, it's one of those things where you're like, I don't think I would openly admit this out loud, but
Even if it was true.
even if it were true, but to know that your child was in this too, and you're already of the mindset that you're aware that it's not completely accurate, it's kind of like you're kind of probably neglecting your own child to an
Boom.
extent because you don't even know if your child's truancy is even accurate.
Boy, and let me add to that, bro, because this is what I'm thinking as you're talking. Apparently, this has been going on so long that this person who's supposed to be representing the school is numb to what's going on, to the fact that it's affecting their own child and they still don't see it as an issue. What the heck, man?
Absolutely. I'll take it one step as well. I actually had the chance to actually talk to one of these people,
Mm-hmm.
and in fact, the one whose child is actually a part of it. And I asked her, how does it, how does it take so many before parents are even alerted in the first place?
Boy.
And the explanation that she gave me wasn't even an explanation. It was
It
just
was a response,
yes, it
a
was
reply.
absolutely that. It was more of a, well, there can be many different reasons as to why something like this would occur, but um, I mean, they never really directly answered this question. So I'm
Of
like,
course not, because they probably didn't know what to say, bro. You
they're
know what I'm
probably not
saying?
used to parents even asking, or
And that's probably why they were selected to run these meetings, if that's what you want to call them.
right.
So let's move on to the district, bro. And I think everybody's starting to see our point here. Um, After the meeting, I was so disturbed by what I had witnessed. I went straight to the board, man. And what I found there was an extension of the non caring type of attitude when it comes to handling or solving or resolving the situation. The person that I was trying to talk to was the coordinator, who all of a sudden had a meeting, and it just happened to be the time that I got there, right? So, me being the persistent person I am, I was like, okay, let me be a part of the meeting because I just came from this. I think I got some things to say. Well, no, it's only for employees. Okay, okay, okay. All right. If that's what you want to tell me, fine. There's a meeting that just so happens to start right now. And then, all of a sudden, I can't come because I'm not an employee. Okay. If that's what you want to say, I'll take that. However, when that meeting is over, have this person contact me. Right? What time is it, bro? What time is it?
Oh, right now,
Yeah, what time is it?
like 7:22.
Yeah, man. So I still haven't heard anything. I haven't got a text. I haven't got an email. I haven't got a phone call. And I still haven't got none, bro. And I'm still waiting. And I still haven't got none, bro. At this point, when people are calling the school, parents, and the principal's not returning their phone call, the attendance person is not returning their phone call, the teachers are not returning their phone call. This system that they have in place, um, this infinite campus, which doesn't work properly. In
Hmm.
fact, let me go there while I mention that. I'm set up to receive every single type of correspondence that there is. For the first 3 years, had no issues. For some reason, this particular year, I'm not set up for all correspondence. I didn't change anything.
Wow.
What happened?
Yeah, that's definitely an error on their behalf.
Mm, yeah, so I reset it up again while I was there because I found that's where I found out. But this particular person has not responded to my request, which I'm not surprised, but I am surprised that all the way up to the office where things are supposed to be handled, you know, my next step is a board member. And the step after that is who? What? The mayor?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So I follow through on things, and there's definitely a situation and a need for action and results. So at this point, I'm totally convinced because this is all firsthand information that all the way up to the district, there's an issue,
Yeah,
a
clearly.
continuing issue, clearly. And bro, let's keep it moving. I think we said enough to open people's eyes on that.
Uh-huh.
Who's keeping track, bro? Who's keeping track of attendance? You know what I'm saying? The one in charge of attendance. You mean the same person that I called multiple times and still haven't heard back from them?
Right.
And this is the person who's in control of attendance, right?
Hmm.
So, what's your thoughts, bro? What's your thoughts?
Man, I'm trying to decide where I wanted to say this, but I think I'm gonna just go ahead and say it now.
Mm-hmm.
There's just clearly a level of negligence, and I think it's a little deeper. I think it's a little systematic, personally.
Mm,
When we mentioned the school before, Washington High School, it's associated with USD 500 school district.
mm-hmm.
When you think about other school districts and other areas or counties,
Mm-hmm.
this sort of thing doesn't necessarily take place.
Bro, this doesn't take place anywhere else because that was one of my questions when I went to the board.
Right,
Well, where the board meets. I went
right.
down there, 59th and parallel. Oops, did that come out? Um, um, so I asked the question, um, hey, is this going on at other schools? And the person that I was talking to said, not to my knowledge. And if anybody would know, right, it
Hmm.
would be that person. So apparently, this situation is isolated at where we're speaking of. What are your thoughts, bro?
Man, again, I think it's I almost think it's systematic, man. I think when you when you're in an area where they tend not to care about certain students,
Mm,
um, I think that these are the kind of things that mysteriously take place. It's almost as if these particular students could even be targeted
mm.
to come up with any reason or excuse to try to penalize them some way, somehow. Because I'm like, truancy, really?
Right. And keep in mind, bro, this is happening 3 months before graduation. You know what I'm saying? The statistics that I got stem all the way back to last year. We're talking 2023, bro. All the way to last year. But all of a sudden, this comes up now, 3 months before graduation. Now, I can go a lot of different places on this, bro,
Man,
but it definitely highlights what you were just getting at.
wow. So yeah, that's wow. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of times, man, in this situation, I'm kind of left speechless because, like you said, just the level of apathy, and it makes you think: does the leadership even care?
They
Um,
don't. It's
you
obvious that
know,
they don't
you
care.
know,
The leadership wasn't at that meeting. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right. I
If
mean,
they, if they
not even the principal.
that's what I'm saying. If the leadership cared, bro, this would have been brought up a long time ago because from what I understand, if there's three absences, then they're considered truant. But from the documentation that I've seen on their computers, a lot of these students, like I said, was 20%, dude, 50%, and in some cases beyond. And as far as being absent or tardy or whatever, dude, that's far beyond three.
Yeah, you're talking about, and again, to this person that I spoke to before, I was told about 600 students were involved in this thing, and I'm like, that's a huge majority of your student body.
Yeah.
We don't think that that's a problem, and that this probably should have been tackled a whole lot sooner than it's been addressed now.
All right, we're gonna move on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because we can definitely, I can feel the tension building, bro.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
uh, so who's keeping track? Um, let's see, the individuals taking the attention. Obviously, they're not. We kind of hit on that earlier.
Uh huh.
Uh, um, so the hall monitors. Let's talk about the hall monitor situation. Did you even ask the question about that?
That I didn't. That I
Let
didn't.
me let me tell you what I found because I asked the questions, bro. I asked the questions. There are no hall monitors.
Hmm.
And in the absence of hall monitors, the hall monitor should be the vice principal who wasn't there, and teachers who obviously aren't focused on attendance period anyway.
Right.
So just leaving it like that so people can their minds can wonder and see where we're going with this and understand what the true problem is and why it exists and why it continues and why it hasn't ended. Um, so, of course, the parents can't keep track. We're just notified. Wait a minute, we're not notified.
Hmm.
So how are we supposed to know until we get this meeting that we're supposed to go to three
Right.
months before graduation, right?
Right.
And the students, you know, they're in class, but they're being marked absent. So how are they supposed to know, right?
Right. Right.
Um, Shaking my head, bro. Let's move on. So so who cares?
Hmm.
Who cares? Um, do the teachers care? I'm gonna let you go on that one, bro.
I would say I would probably say only a few of them probably actually care about anything in any capacity about the students at this point. Um, man, you know, there's always this stigma put placed on teachers that, oh my God, they don't care about anything, right?
Hmm.
And they're only here for the paycheck. And
Hmm.
we know that there are some good teachers out there. We all know too that some of those checks are not so good that they would have no other reason to be there unless they did care. There are
Right, right.
some teachers who really operate with in the best interest of the child.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
do want to give a shout out to them. But there are also other teachers where the stigma really does apply. It really is nothing more than a paycheck. They're not going to go above and beyond, even with the students that they know might need a little bit of extra guidance on, grades or this subject or that subject. And it brings us right back to attendance. I mean, they don't care if they
Absolutely.
show up or not. They're like, I get a check regardless.
Absolutely. Let me stop you right there, bro, because something came to mind when you was talking. Substitutes.
Hmm.
Now, substitutes get paid more than the teachers do, but they have way less of a responsibility or care factor because they're just there for a day or a small period of time. It's nothing solid. It's just extra money to them or just money period to them. So their level of dedication is probably negative, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Uh, so that never came up, but it did cross my mind when you were talking because there's a shortage in teachers, I'm thinking, right?
Right.
But, the people who sub know that they make a certain amount regardless. And all they got to do is show up, take roll, key point, take roll. If they do that and just present the plans for the day that the actual teacher presented or not, uh, and then at the end of the day, they get their money and they walk.
Right.
So by me mentioning that, could that be thrown into the mix a little bit?
I mean, absolutely, because technically they're looking at it like my only responsibility is to be present.
Mm-hmm.
Be present for the students in the class. They don't necessarily even. I don't even think they look at it as, oh, I need to actually. I might even have to do a job like actually teaching the student.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's more so like you said, taking attendance if they do that correctly, which we all know
Right.
how flawed the system is in this case.
Boy, boy.
So I'm looking like, if the permanent teachers are there, miscalculating or, incorrectly taking attendance, how
Mm-hmm.
could the substitutes who would have even less reason to care
Boy.
be feel like they would need to be more accurate than them. So
Hmm.
yeah, man,
Man.
substitutes are definitely an issue, I'm sure.
Right, right. So moving forward, we know that the teachers probably really don't care, especially like they used to or like they should. We know that the school doesn't care like they used to or they should. And we know that the district doesn't care like they should or like they used to. So, and this is all firsthand information, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is not nothing I heard through the grapevine.
Right.
You know what I
Where,
mean?
yeah,
We
this is
was there.
definitely,
We were
yeah.
present. I went to these places. I
Right.
talked to these people myself.
Right.
You know,
Same here.
and this is how I was treated.
Right.
So do you think if the parents or do you think even the students care? I mean, absolutely nobody's caring up to this point, right?
I
So
mean,
so
yeah.
why should the students care?
Right.
You know what I
Because I
mean?
think it reminds me of a scene from the movie. I don't know if you remember it or if you've seen it or not, but have you ever seen the movie Freedom Writers?
Yes, I have. I have.
Man, it kind of reminds me of a scene from that movie where, you know, Hillary Swank is going at it with her department head, and she's like, I need real books to actually teach these students so that
Yeah.
they could actually learn something.
Mhm.
And the department head is looking at her like, well, why would we give them real books when all they do is tear up the little cheap craps that we give them? And Hillary is like,
Wow.
they treat these books like this because they know this is what we think of them. So
Boom.
they're not going to
Boom.
give you any real legitimate effort because you're not even giving them a chance. You don't care about them. You don't even like them. So why
Boom.
would they give a
Boy.
maximum effort to try to prove to you, somebody who
Hmm.
doesn't care for them, that they
Right.
deserve this opportunity and they deserve to expand their lives?
Right, bro. And check this out, bro. If a student knows that they were in class and it was reported that they wasn't, what's their motivation to even show up?
Right. Exactly. I mean, they're looking at it like, man, I can't even get counted for attendance and I'm here.
Right? You know what I'm saying? And dude, this is huge, bro. And it's about to get even more huge with this next. I'm just gonna go on and hit it, man. What is really the concern, bro?
Hmm.
Um, so is it really attendance? Apparently not,
Hmm.
because they don't give a darn about attendance because they're not taking it properly, they're not recording it properly. I mean, it's just so inaccurate. You know what I'm saying? From the teacher all the way up to the district. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And there's no response. There's no nothing. There's nothing, dude. There's nothing. Um, so is the concern the students? Absolutely
Absolutely
not.
not.
Because if it was, this would have been capped a long time ago, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And people like go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick, why were the parents not notified way sooner
Yeah,
when it was obviously a so-called issue before? Why would you wait until things are in danger of truant? And for our audience who may or may not be familiar with truancy, it's basically when they consider your child the equivalent of being absent a certain amount of days, and it becomes so serious that they want to take it, to the highest steps that they can take it to try to, make sure that the parent is either penalized or the child themselves. In
yeah.
short,
And of course, remove themselves from being penalized. Of course.
right?
Uh, so
Absolutely.
so what is really the concern um, is it's definitely not attendance. It's definitely not the student. Um, I don't even think it's the teachers, bro.
Right.
And to this standard, I don't even think it's the school.
Right.
I think, and to some degree, I don't think it's the district, and I don't even think it's about truancy, bro. But I do think it's about money. So let me go here, and then I'll let you have it, man.
Sure.
Um, if a school has so many students, let's say 10, for example, um, they get so much money from the government.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody makes a oops boo boo and that 10 turns into 100, guess what? They get more money, right?
Right.
And if somebody goes even further and says, oops, wait a minute, my pencil slipped, my pen slipped, I wrote 1,000. So they're going to get money for 1,000 students. So just how the inconsistency of marking attendance can be moved to the negative side, And because of the magnitude of this, how do we know it's not being moved to the positive side on something else?
Right.
And we know the teachers are not getting this money. And we know that the supplies for the students are not there. We know there's money going in there because we're getting taxed for it, right? We know
Right.
the money's it's this there, it's going somewhere.
Right.
Where's it really going, bro?
Hmm. That's such a good question, man. It makes you wonder, man. It's obviously going into somebody's pockets, but it's definitely not going to the benefit of the students, the future.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it's actually at this point, and it's probably always been this way, but it's just really at a point, man, where things are so dire, but it takes a situation like truancy to kind of, get it back into our forefronts and realize, wow, this system is so broken.
Well, this is the reason why I went there, bro. Because all of a sudden, towards the end of a year, this comes up. It was
Right.
never an issue before this, even though it was an issue. But all
Right.
of a sudden, towards the end of a year, this comes up, and it's the parents' fault, it's the students' fault, but it's really everybody mentioned other than the parent and the student, right? Because they're obviously not giving a darn about attendance, truancy, or the student or the parent because they're not returning our phone calls. You know what I'm saying? Uh, the communication is just messed up. But if it's time to renegotiate a contract,
Hmm.
if it's time to present your statistics to get funding,
We
all of a
already know.
sudden, all of a sudden, all of a sudden, overnight, within the last week or so, this becomes an issue
Hmm.
when it was already an issue, but now it's the student, now it's the parent. But oh, it's not the teachers. Oh, it's not the principal. It's not the people who are in charge of attendance. It's not the coordinator who's over all this. I would like to say to all of you who are negligent and just on another planet right now when it comes to truancy, attendance, and being tardy. Yes, it is your fault. Yes, it was always your fault. It is still your fault, and it will always be your fault. There it is. Go ahead, bro. What you got?
I only have one thing to add to this.
Mm-hmm.
I think you did an outstanding job. I'm going to say this. I remember talking to this individual while I
Mm-hmm.
was there,
Mm-hmm.
the one whose child was apparently a part of this as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that, where's the accountability, and this person said, well, I'm here every day. My thinking is this. Well, if we all took attendance the way that they took attendance, they're never there.
Boy,
And I'll leave it at
boy,
that.
boy. Bullseye, my man. Bullseye. Great way to cap that off. Um, so, what should be the concern?
Hmm.
Um, and what should be the main concern? And I would say education, bro.
Absolutely. That's the whole
Commun-
point.
yeah, communication, bro. Responsibility, bro. Uh, being held accountable, like you said, man. Uh, and in all this, bro, and I still got to bring this back. In all this, man, where in the heck is the principal?
I didn't even see this person's face. And this is a situation that's obviously
Man,
dire.
as a parent who has had students and still has students, every single school from kindergarten, preschool, grade school, middle school, high school, college, I've known who the principal was.
Right.
At this particular school, I have yet to find out who the principal is. I have yet to find out who the vice principal is. I have yet to find out who the coordinator is. You know what I'm saying? And I went to the office. You know what
You
I'm
know,
saying?
it's a great point you just made, bro, because I actually thought the same thing. I said, they've got the dean of students present, and they've got, another faculty member present. And it's kind of like, why is the principal not present? Especially when it's this many students. It's not two or three or four or five. It's not a handful. You're talking about hundreds of parents were so-called alerted at the last second.
Yeah.
And the
This,
principal, you're talking about the leader of the entire school, not
well,
present.
I'm thinking not quite such a leader, bro.
Hmm.
Uh, the reaction time, the response time, there's no concern, bro.
Yeah.
The only concern to me, it has to be about money and funding.
Right.
Because if it wasn't for that concern, there would be no concern at all, bro. And then I feel so
Right.
sad and sorry for these kids, man, because parents are entrusting this school district, this school, these teachers, this faculty, you know, these people who are wrongfully tabulating attendance and absences, and it's stemming from the top, bro. When I go to this multi-million-dollar facility that they built,
Hmm. Right.
and I go inside to specifically talk to a person about an issue that they say that that meeting was about, in order to not talk to me at the time, because that's what I'm getting. And basically, when it comes to me leaving messages and being there and present, and trying to get the some type of something from them, everyone's response is absent.
Hmm.
So, what are your thoughts, bro?
I mean, I think in the last statement you just made, that I think that actually literally sums it up.
Yeah,
Absent. That's the whole purpose of it all, I guess, is, you know, people, they're simply absent, man. They're absent minded.
boom.
They're they're absent, from day-to-day activities on what their actual responsibilities are, like making
Mhm,
sure that children do get, a proper education, and make sure that communication and responsibility and all that is actually being considered, and that they're actually doing their job with care. There's something that my mom would always say. She would say, when you do something, make sure that you're the best at it. Make sure that
mhm,
you take pride in what you do,
mhm,
even if it was just simply mopping the floor.
mhm,
Uh, and I think that somewhere along the line, that mentality has really gotten lost, to where, if you have these positions of power, authority, and leadership,
mhm.
do the best that you're able to do, because if you're able to give your best, it's going to probably show in the results and the outcome. But the outcome that we're seeing right now, yeah, that
Let,
somebody's
let,
obviously not giving their best.
boy, let's go back to money, man. Because in the world that I grew up in the schools that I went and got my education in the everyday life that I live, bro, when you do something, you get paid for it.
Hmm.
Or if you're paying for something, you get something in return, right?
Right.
So as a taxpayer, and if I was a government official listening to this right now, I would have some serious things to do, because
Hmm.
all the money is being dumped somewhere. You're not getting anything for it. And we're just talking about attendance. We ain't talking about everything else, bro. We're
Right.
just sticking to attendance. So if it's that big of an issue with just attendance, you already know where I'm going,
Yeah.
right? You already know
Imagine
it.
where it is everywhere else.
Boy, boy,
Right.
locking the bathrooms, bro, during school hour periods.
I've
Come
never
on,
heard of
man.
that.
Come
That
on,
is
man. Do you think it's
wow.
happening in Johnson County?
I highly doubt it.
Man,
I highly doubt it.
them people will be running through that school like the Trumpers were running through the White House.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
The storming the Capitol. Man, come on, man. And that's what we need to be doing, bro. As parents, if we're gonna do something, man, I think what must need to happen now is first off, a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, simply just need to be replaced. And I can't say that with any more effort than I'm putting into it because I'm putting all my effort into it. A lot of people just simply need to be replaced. If they've lost track of what's going on, they're in the wrong place. They need a different position. They need to be offering hamburgers through a doggone drive-through window. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? And I'm not dissing those people that do that because they probably would do a better job if the role was reversed. If they were in the school system, they probably do a better job. You know what I'm saying? Than
Right.
what these nincompoops are doing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm being nice about how I'm putting this, y'all, because I'm really ticked off. I am
Right.
really ticked off because the the whole scenario, man, that we brought today, man, is absolutely incredible. And if I wasn't present in that meeting,
It wouldn't even be so believable.
right,
Yeah.
it would be, I'm be like, y'all tripping. Ain't no way in the world. But dude, I
It's
was there the
uh,
first day and you were there the
I was
second
there the
day.
second day.
We
Right.
got this information firsthand, bro.
Firsthand. And you know the crazy thing, before you continue, is
Uh-huh.
uh, they go through this little 15-minute PowerPoint, and you know, I'm going to voice one parent's concern. I watched another parent talk to the dean as well, man,
Mhm.
and she was so visibly upset, and she said she couldn't understand how this this event that we were even present was even going to do any good. Like she couldn't
Right, right.
understand like why we were there, what was the real purpose. And you know, the irony is I kind of knew the real purpose,
Mhm.
and I'm like, they wanted us to sign our rights over, and it's in a sense is how I look at it.
Well, they wanted us to
Take
sign the document to put us fully in blame and the student
right
fully in
and
blame.
take
And
all accountability off themselves.
boom, there it
Yeah,
is.
that's it. That was the
Um,
whole purpose.
and that's the wrong way to do things, bro.
Right.
That's the wrong way to do things. Absolutely, especially when it comes to who we consider the future.
Right. Yeah.
So what else needs to happen, man? Other than a lot of people needing to be replaced, I would say the broken system of attendance must be fixed.
Yeah.
You know, let's see and more importantly, bro, the affected students behind this miscalculation, they need to be forgiven and their attendance need to be reset because obviously and clearly, by their own mouth, and they admitted to this, knowing that this is going on, bro.
Right. Absolutely. And
Come
I
on, man.
definitely completely agree with that take, man, because yeah, I mean, when you're pretty much openly admitting that, yeah, we're pretty much at fault for why this thing is where it is and the inaccuracies we
Hmm.
know are present, like then you can't even this doesn't hold up because you know that the that those records are not true. They're
Yeah,
really false. So
yeah, and dude, this is incredibly ridiculous. I mean, on all ends. I mean, I've never thought that I would ever be doing a podcast show about this. You know what
man,
I'm saying? I mean, it's a
man,
lot of other things to be addressing, but when I heard this and experienced this and witnessed this firsthand, I was like, dude, we got to move this to the front of our list of things to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And I'm glad when I presented it to you, you agreed and jumped all in with it. So thank you.
Yes,
And
sir.
so beyond the children being forgiven and their attendance and tardies be reset, um, the district must apologize for their inconsistencies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know, accountability would finally be taken at that point.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then beyond that, I think parents need to just continue to be parents by defending, protecting, trusting, and loving their kids, man. Because that's really what this is all about. You know, we're speaking out not to disrespect anybody, but to check everybody because there's certain things you just don't mess with, bro.
Right.
You don't mess with moms. You know what I'm saying? You don't
Right.
mess with people's food. You
Right.
don't mess with people's significant other. And
Right. You don't
dog,
mess with
you don't
people's
mess with their
kids.
kids. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Absolutely.
For real.
Yeah, there's boundaries and limitations, man, and you have to make sure that those things are set and established. Absolutely.
Absolutely, man. And y'all better get it right, man. Straight up. It's not a request anymore. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's a
It's not a
demand.
request. It's a demand. It's a demand. Y'all getting my taxpayer dollars. Y'all better do it right. and,
Yeah,
it,
absolutely.
and it's not just about attendance. That's the only thing we touching on today. But we know about a lot more. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But this is the start of it. You know what I'm saying? You can fix everything. You can definitely fix this, but you're being paid attention to. You know what I'm saying? You're
Right.
being paid attention to. So, bro, normally we have segments, but today this was so important that I pushed the segments and the acknowledgments of our sponsors and everything towards the end. But right now, because it's relevant as well, uh, I got a Black History question for you, bro.
Okay.
I got a Black History question for you. And here it is. How has Black history benefited you, and how will you benefit Black history for the future?
I love that two-part question, man. I love it, man. I think, man, yeah. Okay. So how has Black history benefited me? Oh
Mhm,
man, Black history has benefited me to the point where I would say it has practically single-handedly changed my life for the
mhm,
better.
mhm,
Uh, when you come, I'm going to use this example, and I think hopefully you'll appreciate this.
mhm,
Uh, Coming from walks of life that we've come from, we all know that religion plays a huge role
mhm,
in the foundations of our lives. Our parents, our mothers in particular, kind of
mhm,
always tend to keep us in church,
mhm.
to the point to where they can even church you out sometimes, but we know that they mean well.
Right, right.
Uh, but a lot of times, when you're talking to, you know, some people in your generation, but especially within the younger generation,
Mhm,
they kind of look at it as, oh, this stuff is not for us. Why would you subscribe to something where the people don't look like you?
mm,
And I think the importance of the significance of Black history for me in that regard is when you understand that things like the Bible and even a lot of other ancient texts, when you realize that those people were indeed melanated,
mm.
there's like something in your brain that opens up, and you see the world a lot different.
Right,
You
right.
realize that everything that they teach you in certain regards is not what you thought it was,
Mhm.
and you just kind of have a deeper appreciation for history itself.
Yeah.
uh, so that I would say that's the significance of Black history for me.
Mhm,
And the second part of your question, what kind of mark would I love to leave on Black history?
mhm.
I'm actually going to broaden that scope just a touch,
Okay.
but it's going to tie in. Uh,
Mhm,
for me, it's all about leaving the world better than it was when I entered it.
mm.
Um,
Okay.
if I can, even if it's small, or no matter how small or how large this imprint can be,
Mhm,
I just want to leave it better than it was when I found it, man, when I entered. Um, and it's kind of funny. I remember some time ago, you and I think actually co-wrote a poem, and I think it was kind of authored on the lines of how many lives do I touch?
boy, yeah, I
And
remember that.
yeah, man, it kind of you never know, man. Somebody's actually always watching you, no matter
Mhm,
how significant or insignificant you might think.
mhm.
So that for me, that's the one thing that I've always kind of paid attention to, is that no matter what, somebody is really always watching you. So
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Nicely said. beautifully stated. And for me, bro, you know me, man. Once I get started on something, I can't let it go. But as far as Black history um, and the effect or the impact that it's had on me, um, basically, I can vote. I'm now allowed to
Mm,
vote, and my vote actually counts. And the reason I say that, bro, is one of my very important votes went towards a board member of the school board,
mm,
and my vote counted because that person got in. Uh, and I know that the things that I brought to that person in the past, they have pounced on those situations and handled them very effectively. So this episode today, I'm sure they'll hear about uh, sooner than later, and I'm looking forward to them making my vote count and pouncing on this scenario and getting to the bottom of it and getting it uh, worked out by any means necessary. Um,
right.
so, as far as what I can do for Black history in the future, uh, heck, man, I'm a podcaster. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Never thought I would be a podcaster, but I'm a voice, man. People who have a microphone or in position to broadcast anything, they are a voice uh, that can be heard, that can move and shake and wake the masses to get results. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so anything I can do, I'm like you, man. I want to leave everything better. Uh, but I guess since I'm a black male, I want to make things better for black men. I think I've done that so far, and I think my impact has been great. Um, but I'm looking to make that impact a lot greater as time moves forward. But I appreciate Black history because really, truly, man, without Black history, there's no me, there's no you, there's no we, there's no us. You know what I'm saying? Um, but for moments like this, that we can have a voice and speak freely because we know better and we are aware of a situation and we are doing what we need to do to put our efforts forth to resolve this ignorance uh, uh, and place the blame where it needs to be placed. You know what I'm saying? On those very ones who are trying to not be blamed for something that is clearly their fault. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
What you got,
sir.
bro? What
Yes,
you got?
sir. I just got two things to add to that, man. That was very well stated as well.
Thank you.
Um, the the beauty of it all, man, is that I think this is actually, in a way, I'm gonna make it comparable to like a hip hop itself,
Hmm.
because hip hop was able to give a voice to the voiceless. So I think that's kind of what we're able to do, is kind of give a voice to people who may not be able to express it,
Hmm.
or may not know how to express their, grievances or ideas or philosophies. And we're able to do that in a way that I think not only keeps us respectable,
Hmm.
but also, you know, helps us retain our credibility as well. So I love that. And the second thing, I'm just gonna kind of close my end on this.
Hmm.
Without Black history, there is no history itself.
Boom. Perfect. Bullseye, man. Another bullseye. And I'm gonna go here, bro, because I think this is probably the one thing that we didn't say that we probably should have said. Um, when somebody leaves you a voicemail or comes to see you, or when you have a meeting and invite people in the room, you might want to do some type of check because you never know who you're talking to. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? You never know who's listening. You never know who's in the room. And in the middle of this presentation, bro, I took the mic and I held it and I said what I needed to say. And I got an applause. from the people that were there, the parents. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure at that moment they didn't know who I was and or what I do. You know what I mean? And I'm sure the people that were talking, the junk that was coming out of their mouth, bro. Trying to make it look appealing, I guess. Um, and even when I went to the building, where the board meets, the person that should have met with me and didn't, you know, you might want to consider in the future, who is this person? Why they want to meet with me? Maybe I should meet with them. Maybe I should hear them out, because when you don't hear certain people out, they have a way of communicating anyway. And you might
Right.
not like the way they respond, but I will say this, bro. I gave every single one of them an opportunity to talk to me.
Right.
And one of the parents that was in that room, I got to say this, man, they were in the middle of saying something. And one of those two ladies you're talking about was holding the mic. That's why I took the mic. She literally walked off in the middle of their comments. And another parent yelled across the room, "Hey, he wasn't finished. You let him speak."
Right.
Kept walking like she didn't hear nothing. So that right there is even a further extension of
Wow.
their careless behavior in this whole scenario, man. So
Wow.
when this thing goes on blast, and it will, watch how the phones ring, bro.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Hey, we making a difference one way or the other, and if you piss somebody off, you better be ready.
Right. Right. Right.
Hey, we speak for the parents, we speak for the truth, we speak for what's going on, man. Uh, Let me go ahead and highlight uh, the sponsors: JG's Lounge, TGBTG, Golden Diamond Productions, and Vibe. VYV. It comes in a little vial. You shake it, you sniff it, and it gets your brain waves going. Uh, Man, bro. Um, Part of me wants to end this, but part of me wants to keep going, man. Um, what do you think, man? What you got?
Man, to be honest with you, I think we did a really good job, man. I mean, if you'd like to keep going, we can. But I
Well,
think we did a great. What's up? Go ahead.
if I do continue, it'll be on our segment, man. I didn't synced and I didn't heard it all, man. I think we need something to kind of, kind of,
Lighten it.
yeah, lighten it up, because we've been handling, man. We've been handling. Uh, so I got a couple, maybe a possible three. This first one, uh, a woman finds her own long lost wallet washed up on the beach. What are the odds of that, bro?
Wow.
Yeah, a
That's
woman. That's crazy,
that's
right?
that's yeah. That's so rare that you wouldn't even believe it unless she had the wallet to actually prove it and the damage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So a woman
Wow.
walking with her dog on a British Columbian beach made a surprising uh, discovery among the trash that washed up in the tide, and it was her long lost wallet.
Wow.
I mean, that's
Well,
incredible, bro. I
yeah,
mean, she knows now where her stuff went, or
man.
where, and now she found it. Of course, it's probably not any good anymore. But I just think that's amazing, bro. She probably should have bought a lottery ticket that day.
Man.
Any elaborations on that?
Wow. I mean, it's kind of miraculous.
Yeah, yeah,
It's-
absolutely.
you don't think something like that, with of all the things that could have washed up on the shore, right?
Right, exactly, exactly. Uh, Man, talk about being in a place at a certain time, right?
Man.
Don't know where she lost it, but that's definitely where she found it.
Wow. What are the chances?
Right, So this next one, I kind of pulled it up because we recently had the Valentine's Day holiday. Uh, Bear breaks into Florida woman's car to steal chocolates. Your face says it all, man. Uh, a romantic surprise turned into a costly nightmare when a bear broke into a woman's car to steal the candy that her boyfriend had placed in her front seat.
Wow.
Hey man, bears need candy too, right?
Man.
Oh my goodness.
Dang.
I didn't see it
I done
and
seen
I didn't heard it all.
man. Wow.
Oh man, that's funny. Um, and this last one, man, not sure where to go with this one. But this is a little weird. It's a little weird. Delta flight rerouted after maggots fall on passenger. Uh, right. A Delta flight from Amsterdam to Detroit was quickly turned around when maggots fell out of an overhead bag into a passenger, which is really bizarre, man, because you really don't know what these people are bringing on board. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Uh, and maggots, dude. If I'm on a plane and maggots following me, man, I'm freaking out, bro. Yeah,
Bro.
I mean, that's something else. And then they had to reroute and go back because that's a red flag, man. You don't know
Yeah.
what's going on, man. I mean,
Right. Right.
first of all, you don't want no nothing like that on your plane. You want it to be maggot free, of course. But
Dang.
dude, I mean, just think about that, man. You the overhead compartment and the bag is in there, and I don't know how many maggots it was. I just know that there were maggots, and they fall out of the compartment onto a
A
passenger.
passenger.
I
Wow.
mean, that's crazy, bro. I mean, that's some like nightmare on Elm Street type of
Street.
stuff.
Man. Yes. Wow.
But yeah, man, that's what I got for I didn't see it
Saint.
and I didn't
I done
heard it
heard
all,
it all,
man.
man.
So yeah, man, another great episode today. I appreciate you, brother, for always just being there in the moment, man. And what was interesting is I went to that first meeting and I had no idea that you were going to be at the second meeting, but it worked out to where we both got to experience that ridiculousness
Man.
that we experienced, and hopefully something will be done about this. And like I said, man, I got some key people that I will definitely make mention of this too, and because on all the other levels, there was a total and complete breakdown of the system, uh, total and complete breakdown of caring to just even return a person's phone call, bro, or be present in a time like this when something is gone far beyond where it needed to be going. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Um, that school district, that school and attendance is in a really bad place, bro. And for them not to acknowledge their fault makes it even worse, bro.
Right.
So yeah, but that's what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching it now, if you watch it later, man, spread the word because this is a huge one right here. And when we come across information uh, and be presented with things, we do our research, we do our homework. But when we when we get them, hey, what reason is there to hold back? You know what I'm saying? Especially when this has been going on for a long time, right?
Right. And in this case, our homework is our firsthand experience.
And 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 research just don't get any better than
Right.
that. All
Man.
right, man. We have one person tuning in, but you're gonna have to watch this from the beginning because we're about to wrap it up. Thank you for showing up, though, even if it's late in the game. We appreciate you so much,
Thank you.
and that's what's going on, man. And poetics, if you ain't got nothing else, this is evolution, and we are signing off. And hopefully, this thing gets resolved ASAP.
I'm good, man. I think we did a good job, and I'm ready to see the results of hopefully something really good comes out of this.
Absolutely, man. All right, y'all take care. We'll be in touch. Peace.
Peace.